go through a bookstore, I see magazines and books and everything about taking care of yourself, taking care of your body. It's almost a religion. Well, it isn't. However, it is a religious duty and a very good idea. Jesus had sent them out to preach and to heal. And it worked, much to their amazement. People listened to them. People were healed when they anointed them with oil. And they came back excited and exhausted. And now they needed to come back down to earth and think about what had just happened. What did all this mean? And everybody needs to do that. We need to take time with our bodies, with our lives, and say, okay, what have I done? What does it mean to me? What kind of a person am I? Because what I do determines that a lot more than what I say. The ascetic says, deny your body and you'll strengthen your spirit. Modern life says, glorify your body and put everything you got into developing it. And as usual, the truth is probably somewhere in between them. You need both. Some people are given lots of health and strength and what President JFK called vigor. Some people, not so much. Whichever we have, the proper care of our bodies is a thank you to God for what we have. And it's especially true in this restless modern society that we live in. You know, ancient men didn't even have a calendar, let alone a clock. They went by the seasons. And they seemed to get along all right. But they also, day after day, they didn't know what time it was because they went by the sun. This morning, it's afternoon, it's evening. That's it. You got up in the morning, you went to bed when the sun went down, and that's the way life went back there. Now we have clocks all over the place. You can't escape them even if you want to. Quite a few years ago, I bought this watch. It wasn't that expensive, but it was guaranteed accurate to 1 second per month. And it still keeps good time. But really, who needs to be that proud? Huh? I don't, and I'm not. T.S. Eliot, the poet, spoke about London as the time-kept city. Because he said, everywhere I go in London, I walk and I see clocks in windows and clocks on steeples and clocks here and clocks there. Everybody is running by the clock. Well, nowadays, most lives are, aren't they? Even life in the smaller places, in a village like this one. So much of what we do is time. We have to be here by 8 o'clock. We have to be there by 2 o'clock. And, you know, we think that this is going to make life move more quickly because we're doing it this way. One of the ironies is, I read recently, that if you want to get across Manhattan during the business hours, the quickest way is to walk. Because traffic is so tied up that you don't save any time going that way. Well, it says the disciples didn't have time to eat. Been there? Yeah, we all have. How many pick-up meals have you had in the last week or two? I know I've had several where I came in and said, well, I got to grab something, you know. If you grab food, you've already lost the race. You know that. But even more, there's no time to live with ourselves. To find that inner unity or the peace that is really you. Take time to smell the flowers. Saunter through the woods. Talk with a child. Sit somewhere with your back against a tree and just look and listen. Don't do anything else for a while. It's amazing how much you can learn. Find your place and then use that place. My place lately, during this hot weather, is out on the deck when the sun has finally calmed down a bit and the breeze is drifting across. mind all the time. And someone wrote a poem about it. And they said, he came to the desert of London town, gray miles long. He wandered up and he wandered down, singing a quiet song. He came to the desert of London town, murk miles broad. He wandered up and he wandered down, ever alone with God. Alone with God. We all need that kind of time. So Jesus says to his disciples, let us go off by ourselves to some place where we will be alone and you can rest a while. You know, it isn't the work we do that exhausts people. It's the pace, it's the pressure, it's the feeling of being pushed. And that's what we need to get away from. When I was in the active pastorate, I used to make a lot of trips to Rochester, to the hospital there. As a matter of fact, for the first 10 years that I lived in Canandaigua, I could tell you how to get to every hospital in Rochester and nothing else. I knew nothing else about the city. But the thing that got me was, if someone were there, and you know, they were there because back then we weren't as fortunate as we are now. Now our local hospitals have all kinds of departments that they didn't have before. If you live in Canandaigua, you can have everything done in Canandaigua except brain surgery. That's about the only thing you have to go to Rochester for anymore. When I got there, you went to Rochester for anything except an appendix operation. So anyway, I made lots of trips, and the ones that I remember least happily are the ones where I got in the car and went and thought to myself, I got 90 minutes, 30 minutes to get up there, 30 minutes to visit, and 30 minutes to get back. Needless to say, they weren't the best calls I ever made. But what would Jesus' words do for us if we let them work on us? So many people coming and going. Let us go off by ourselves. That's the thing. Is what you are doing, is what you're spending your time and energy on, taking you where you really want to be? Have you ever asked yourself that? So many people coming and going. That's not just in the Bible, is it? It's in life. And the busier we are, the more we need to stop once in a while and make sure of our priorities. Martin Luther kept a diary. And on one of the pages he wrote, I have so much to do today, I shall have to take 3 hours in prayer. That was his way of getting his priorities straight. Do you know what is important in your life? What is important to you? Do you really know it? Not what you think it is, not what you say it is, but what it really is. Do we take time to find that out? Because it's easy to do. Just check on how you spent your time in the last 2 weeks. And you'll find out what's important. Then take time to decide, is this what I really want? Is this the way I want my life to go? Take time to decide, because it will not only change our perspective, but it will give us time to sort out what we want to keep and what we want to throw out. And we all need to throw out. We do it, I don't know about you, but in my house, I keep hoping people will come in and steal things. We got so much junk. You know, and I can remember waking up about 3 a.m. and remembering that I hadn't closed the garage door, and I thought, as I went back to sleep, oh good, maybe something will be missing. picking up their loads to go on. And so he went over to the chief bearer and he said, "What's the problem?" And the chief bearer said, "Oh, there's no problem. We're just going to stay here for a day so that our souls can catch up with our bodies." I don't think that's a bad idea, you know. Jesus and his disciples didn't even have time to eat. Haven't you been there? I have. And when we are, that's the time to stop and smell the flowers. And when we do, things begin to sort out. They sort themselves out, I think, and we remember what our lives are all about in the first place. Maybe it's that people or things go back to their proper proportion and we don't end up majoring in minors all the time. Jesus talked about some people who thought they would be heard for their much speaking. Well, sometimes I think we think Christianity, being a disciple, is much rushing. I know, I'll bet you have too. I can remember ending a day and thinking, well, I must have done something today because I'm sure exhausted. Of course, if somebody had asked me what it was, I might have trouble bringing it up. I'm not sure. So slow down, sort it out, put it together more according to the plan that God wants as you understand that plan for you. The King James translation of the Bible translates Jesus' words, "Let us go off by ourselves," in a very quaint King James phrase. "Let us come ye apart for a while." And the story is told of a leader at a clergy retreat who used the King James for his text for that day. He was preaching on these words, "Come ye apart for a while." And he looked up and he said, "It is good to see so many ministers coming apart." Yes, it's all right if you put them back together in the right way. God says to Moses, "See that you do everything according to the pattern shown to you on the mountain." See that you do everything according to the pattern shown to you on the mountain. And what was that pattern? Well, basically, it was the Ten Commandments. And that's still basic for our lives and what we should want for our lives. We love and honor God by the way we treat each other. And the Ten Commandments are basically how to treat other people. And we still haven't caught up with them, you know. 100 years ago, famine was an ever-present threat in the world. We simply couldn't grow enough food for the people there. And as a matter of fact, some of our ancestors came here because of famine, didn't they? The Irish came because of the potato famine, and they came in droves of people. To our shame, we know how to do it now, but we still haven't. And we still haven't gotten rid of it. And famine still propels many immigrants to our door. And we complain, but these people aren't here because they want to be. They are here because they are desperate, because their children are starving, and they will do anything to save them. Our solution seems to be to slam the door in their face, or worse, lately to divide them and send them to different parts of the country and put them in jail. And I know they don't call them jails, but you can't kid me. If it's iron what we do every day in our families, in our neighborhood, yes, and in our nation. Take time to smell the flowers. The flowers are God's bonus to us. Don't enjoy them. Our second reading is from the 108th Psalm. The psalmist says, "My heart is ready, O God. My heart is ready. I will sing praises. I will give thanks to thee, O Lord, among the peoples. I will sing praises to thee among the nations. For thy steadfast love is great above the heavens. Thy faithfulness reaches to the clouds." Use the time God has given you. Not just to say these words, but to live them. Let's pray. Slow us down. We don't need speeding up. We've mastered that. Now we need to slow down, smell the flowers, be conscious of the blessings that you shower on us day by day. Help us to see them, to accept them, to live them.